Allah Akbar, God is glorious. Thank you guys for taking a moment to listen to this because what I wrote just a second ago, I'm going to chant this though, because flowing is the only way to keep the spirit going, and it's the future of communication and what I hope to be a nation of true people who do not quake in the face of what the human race perpetuates. That we do not repeat the same mistakes, that we keep going on, and I'm going on, but I wish to say something a little more profound than video games, Donkey Kong playing. That there's a war being made in our global brain that is not sane, that is not just as the last weren't. Questionable flirtation of our nation with false flags and preemptive striking strikes me as compromising our own internal security. But as this all moves forward, the proxy wars between BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India, and China forming their own currency that can combine to make something totally 10 times stronger than the World Bank. And then you got TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership tank, shooting itself at anything in its way, including the Constitution of the United States. 600 of the strongest corporations in the world putting all the boys and girls' livelihoods at stake, saying that the food, the water, the soil that we all work on, everything that we make could be literally on their bottom line decision tree. A two-track legal system is what they wish to be, such that if any federal, local, or state firm were to say, "No, you cannot have your way," that the TPP would say, "You must answer to me. And you have no authority. Your Constitution, I pee on." That's the TPP, and that's what's coming towards us. So you got North Korea and Syria. Syria that's saying, for real, we're not interested in this bullcrap stealing from the United States. The petrodollar is made by blood, and we don't got any reason for playing around with that. China and Russia are kind of allied with any other countries that have such a stance, like Iran, the only two independent petroleum-producing communities on the planet. Everything else uses a petrodollar. So we got several global, totally disconnected groups trying to vie for the last resources of burning the future. What are we? Are we cavemen? Are we cavemen? Are we caving into men? Or are we men who are defending our women? This is such an intense speech, but because my faith in my community will be used as a pawn. The Baha'is. And I have heard words which Baha'u'llah would despise, that these wars where infants and innocents are shot from the skies by drones that don't have human eyes, because you have to look at it with spiritual eyes. I look at it with spiritual eyes, my friends and my companions, that bloodshed is exactly why Baha'u'llah cried. It was because his friends, the servants of not men but God, use that as an excuse to wage war. should be ashamed. We should all be ashamed. Because I've got these two proofs from the U.S. Department of State on Afghanistan and Iraq. Well, we've got our sights set on Iran. I've heard some people say the Baha'is are better off today. They have their local assemblies in Afghanistan and Iraq. America has liberated them. Who cares about the innocent blood spilled on the attack? Millions of people dying. It's pretty damn true when you read these two state government pieces that the women in these countries, as well as the Christians, the Zoroastrians, the Jews, and the Baha'is, are not better off, but possibly worse in God's eyes. And I know that the Baha'is who are so scarred and traumatized and enduring the pain of persecution, of a multi-generational attempt of creating mass confusion and paranoia that the cause of Baha'u'llah is for strife, that Baha'is cannot even, will have to risk their lives to get an education, that this very fact will be used to justify a war for nothing more than Black Death underneath the floorboards. The people, regardless of their faith, are nothing but in the way of the fix that America needs today. It's just an excuse to say, oh man, my complexion could use a little injection. Color of the skin has nothing to do with what wishes to extrude what is within. And that's what I've got to say. I have to say that if we really want peace today, we need to look at things like the 2 Rose Wampum Tree Day. Be there on May Day, Central Park, maybe, when we start to see how crazy we are. I'm going to make this 9 seconds just for the 9-pointed star. And I'm just gonna relax and kind of breathe in because, man, this thing is really happening. And the Baha'is cannot stand by and watch. We need to defend our brothers and sisters, but also honor their sacrifice and be proud of them and love them. And not perpetuate any bloodshed in their name ever, lest we be marked for eternity of causing Baha'u'llah to weep.